Hello, everybody. It's your boy Comedy K10 here, coming at you with another podcast episode. We are on podcast number 59.
Gamer.
It is your boys. I'm Kirby, and I'm here with my co-host Meta Knight,
Yes, it's your boy.
also known as Iron Meta Frankie.
And Skinny Penis. All right.
So I guess we should just we can just hop right into it. We finally got some more news on this next upcoming Battlefield game. Me and Meta did watch some of the leaked gameplay that has come from this playtest, although there is an NDA that
Yes, we did, baby.
that was signed by all the players of this playtest, so it wasn't supposed to have any gameplay leak, but you know it's going to happen. I mean, every time they have some sort of playtest for any new video game, there's going to be leaks for it. And from what we did see of it, we haven't. Again, I think we shouldn't judge too fast. We haven't gotten to actually play it. We also haven't seen any reviews for the game yet, so I'm not getting my hopes up. But from what I've seen, they're trying to imitate Battlefield 4, and as well as they are bringing back the class system, and you can see your class character before you go into the game. So I wonder if this is sort of a way for them to maybe sell cosmetic skins for the assault class, right? So you can have an assault skin or a sniper skin. I think that would be a much better way of doing it than having the specialist.
Yes.
And plus they can also do collabs and stuff still.
Holy crap, cats.
If they want to. But in terms of the gameplay, though, the person who was playing it was not very good. But yeah,
They're worse than me. The gameplay that leaked, no Fed posting, was it was kind of crazy. You could really tell that they were trying to capture that Battlefield 4 nostalgia, like you mentioned. But what I found most interesting, I think, was just how badly they were attempting to do that. Like the UI, the way you spawned in, the way you went down, it all was very Battlefield 4-esque. And I know they tried to capture that with 2042 or whatever it is.
yeah.
And it didn't work. Everyone got nostalgic, and then whenever it wasn't like Battlefield 4, they got mad. So I don't know how this marketing strategy is going to work out for them. Do you really think it's a good idea to do this? Nostalgia bait?
I don't know. I mean, it worked last time, so I wouldn't. I think they would probably do it again. Although I think once 2042 was released, a lot of the sales were hurt by reviews and people saying that this isn't it. So I do think over the long term, it maybe isn't a good idea to do this again. But here's the thing: if this game is actually good, it could work in reverse, right? It could be a good thing that they went for that nostalgia play. The problem is if it's another 2042, then it's really going to be bad. So one thing as well is the movement is going to be more similar to Battlefield 5. So you're going to be able to crouch and sprint. So you're going to be able to crouch sprint, and I believe you can do sort of a slide, although I don't think we've seen that just yet. Again, I think stuff is still subject to change. If they get some sort of feedback, they might remove some of the stuff, so I wouldn't get too picky on certain things. But if this game is going to come out later this year, I would expect it to be similar to what we've seen. If it comes out next year, I think they could change a lot more. But
Certainly. And I think people's initial inclination is going to be to assume that it's going to be another 2045 situation, which is unfortunate, but that's just what I That's just what I believe it to be. Like people will see it and they'll be like, "Oh, here we go, baiting
Mm-hmm.
again."
Yeah.
But yeah, if it works out, I guess it'll be a huge hit. And I know a lot of people still like 2042. They're rare. What did you think? I guess what did you think of the map? It looked a little better. Like their map design looks like it's improved a tiny bit.
Yeah, the map design did look like there was some more cover. It did seem to be a smaller sort of, I want to say like Gulf of Oman inspired map, except not as big and much more like infantry focused. But I believe there was one tank. I think it was one tank per team on that map, which I think if it's going to be a map that is more infantry focused, there should be only one vehicle per team. Um, I'm sure they are going to have like a Operation Locker or Operation Metro style infantry map. Um, Again, we don't know any details. I hope there's more maps than the 7 that were in Battlefield 2042. I mean, in my opinion, there should be no less than 16, but that might be a little unrealistic for Battlefield. Um, we'll also have to see on the portal mode. They did say portal mode was coming back. We haven't seen any gameplay on that, but and one last thing I would like to mention here is the recoil of the gameplay. I don't know if you noticed this, but supposedly they're going back to more like Battlefield 5 and even some Battlefield 4 mechanics where the recoil is going to be a little more randomized. Whereas in 2042, the recoil was the exact same all the time, always, which is nice. But I do think it is a much more casual game, and the recoil should be harder to control. But in my opinion, it looked so similar to like 2042's like gunplay mechanics. I'm not very happy about that. We'll have to see once we get our hands on it. But yeah, other than that, I think that's about it for Battlefield.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess we'll move on. We've had some big Twitch news this week. I don't know how updated you've been.
No.
But I figured we would cover this since everyone else is. Hassan, earlier in the week, actually last week, he was watching Rick Scott, who's a Republican senator. And Rick Scott was talking about Medicaid. And Hassan basically said, if you cared about Medicaid, or sorry, he was talking to it was another Republican senator. I don't know. He was watching him on Fox or whatever. And he basically said like to the screen or to his audience, like, he was responding back to the senator. He was like, if you cared about, Medicare, you would kill Rick Scott. And Rick Scott is this Republican senator from Florida who has done a lot of things, allegedly has done like Medicare fraud and a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, that led to Hassan getting a ban for a hot 24 hours for threatening a congressman. And then everyone came back and said he didn't threaten the congressman. He was talking to the other guy that he was watching on Fox. He wasn't talking to his audience. But his audience, whenever he said that, was spamming Luigi Mangione meme. They were obviously into it. They were like, yeah, kill Rick Scott. So that was the big drama. And now Asman has come back into the picture and said how ridiculous it is, and then Hassan responded calling him a Nazi, and so it's been a real clusterfuck over at Twitch. Ethan got banned for restreaming his content nuke on Twitch. It was banned for extreme violence, which is everything that Hassan said. And I know this is all kind of like new information for you, but I guess my question would be is like, do we think Hassan is going to have like a PewDiePie moment and cause like a Twitch adpocalypse at some point?
I mean, I think at some point the what do you call it? The bubble's going to burst on like Twitch. And they're going to start having, I mean, it already kind of has where I think the election has had a big impact just on companies in general, like Facebook, obviously taking more action to like not censor Republicans as much. Um, with stuff like this, though, the thing is, like, I think the powers that be might be too strong, and Hassan can probably just keep, as long as like Hassan doesn't actually. I feel like if he like vague post about it, he'll be okay, like this, or I don't know. I mean, like that one time. I remember that one time where he called Destiny like the Italian slur. I was like, bro. I feel like he should have got banned for that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the powers that be protect him way too much. Elon Musk even got involved. There was a guy that tweeted out, Ethan Klein gets a 30-day ban on Twitch for playing the Hassan content nuke. And seems like a lot of people need to get fired at Twitch. And Elon responded with the 100 emoji. So even Elon is paying attention to Twitch. I know Congress is looking into Twitch. They have a lot of eyes on him right now. And Hassan actually doubled down. This is the second part of the story. Hassan doubled down, and he was watching another clip later, and he was like, I don't want to say anything extreme, but, you know, hopefully doesn't get Rick Scott killed or something. And I was like, oh, no. So he's just going to keep doubling down and soying out. And I think you're right. I think the powers that be, if they really, really cared, they would have done something by now. And they've made it very clear they don't really care. So it'll be a while, but I'm sure something will drop. I just don't know from who or what. But I think Twitch is kind of in danger. At least with Hassan being the biggest streamer. Actually, I think Asmon's gotten bigger than Hassan at this point because everyone got tired of like his insane far lefty gaslighting that they've all went over to like neutral, like right-leaning Asmon. And so I think Asmon's now the biggest streamer by technicality. Political streamer at least. But yeah, I think Hassan's in for a wake up.
Yeah. Also, it's like, I don't know. I just think all this like, it's kind of interesting too, because like all of this very nasty like wanting to cause or like calls for violence or whatever you want to call it. All this like nasty speaking is coming from the left now, and it's against right wingers. So I think it's weird. It's like shifting. I don't remember a time really where like right wing people were nasty. I mean, maybe like obviously like the far right, like Nick Fuentes and stuff.
Yeah,
they did go a little crazy back in the day, but I mean, it's always the far nut jobs. It's always the far nutters that are doing stuff like that. I will say, I do think there's more of a tendency to do it on the left because they've normalized the whole Nazi, you know, calling everyone a Nazi or everyone a fascist, or, you know, they've kind of normalized that behavior, and so I think there's more of a tendency for that, but it's definitely not just a righty. Yeah, I think it's
or a lefty.
I mean, yeah, it's like you demonize and you like dehumanize the people by calling them a name instead of like calling, you know, saying they're a person, and like I mean, it makes it easier to cause violence to them.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Especially if you don't view them as a person. So,
yep,
not surprising.
Not at all. Well, I guess we can move on.
Yeah, I know me and Meta have been getting back into Minecraft a little bit, so I did want to talk about this one video that I saw about a week or two ago, and it's called "Why Minecraft Isn't Fun Anymore." It's by Jet Starfish, and a lot of people did get mad at this video because they do like the new Minecraft system, systems they've added, but he kind of goes over a little bit of the reasons why Minecraft isn't fun anymore. I think one of the biggest reasons for me is in the early days, in like 2012, they added rails with minecarts, and that was the fastest way to go transportation wise, and this was before even sprinting. And so you would put rails down, and you could connect your base to another area, maybe in a different biome that you wanted to live at because it had different resources. So that was sort of the idea behind the rails. And then they added sprinting about 6 months later, which made you run as fast as the rails. And so a lot of people suggested that they should buff the rail speed. And then a year later, they added horses, which run even faster. So like basically they've nullified all transportation, or just made it way better if you just tame a horse and use that as your method. And then now you have Elytra. So now like basically Elytra is like the best form of transportation. And so they just keep on making better things that overpower the I will say Elytras are much more late game, but like once you get them, there's no point in having rails or minecarts or anything, unless you're making like some sort of redstone build.
Yeah, I mean 1,000,000%. Actually, I think the best way to travel. Gosh, sorry for hitting y'all's ears like that. I think the best way to travel is the Elytra with a firework, which I've seen is really popular, where you kind of fly and then you shoot yourself up and then you keep gliding and you can travel almost forever. Which, I mean, that's a cool way to travel and everything. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of systems that replace older systems. I mean, like, do people even use people don't even, holy moly, people don't even use like old methods, or like they don't even use like what's the word I'm looking for? They don't even use like redstone that much anymore that I've seen to make like real simple stuff. Everything that's like made with redstone is not really, really complex. And that's because everyone's gotten better at using it, but also, the kind of I guess the novelty wore off too for some people, so that's also part of it. But
yeah. And I mean, I get it, right? Like the game, it can't stay the same forever, right? It's not going to be Minecraft. Like it's not going to be Minecraft from 2010 anymore. And one factor that does play into it is nostalgia, and that's something that he doesn't go into in this video. And so I think that's what a lot of people like really attacked him on, was like, oh, you're looking at this with like nostalgic goggles. And old Minecraft did have its issues for sure, but I think one thing that was very interesting is within newer Minecraft, you do not feel very you don't feel very vulnerable in the early game, because before before anything, you used to not even have a hunger bar. And so the first night was very scary, because if you didn't get food or shelter in a bed, you had to basically just stay in your shelter all night, which was boring. So I can understand that. Maybe they should have made like beds easier to get, but and that was one thing too, is the caves were actually scary to go into.
Oh yeah,
because if you got shot a couple times by skeletons, you're dead.
Well, I don't know if you remember the accuracy of the skeletons either, because like if you set it on like normal, they had a really high chance of headshotting you, and if you set it on like hard, they almost exclusively used to headshot you.
Yeah, I do think and also you didn't have a sprint. You couldn't sprint away from mobs. So if you got hit by a skeleton, you're most likely going to get hit again. Because I think they were slower than the player, but because you didn't have sprint, you couldn't get away as fast. So
I guess
that's kind of another thing. And food didn't stack as well. So I mean, there have been some improvements, but yeah.
I guess the biggest complaint that I think still remains with Minecraft in general is I always have beef with like the updated combat system. To me, that was like whenever I kind of lost interest. I mean, I couldn't just spam attack anymore, but also there's just something really boring about like swinging, waiting like 2 seconds, swinging again. Wait, like I don't know. I just don't like. I don't think it was an upgrade, but a lot of people do. So there's just been a lot of changes and a lot of adjustments to the game that I don't like. Like my favorite version is 1.12 because that was the hunger bar, or they added in the food bar. The combat update I don't think existed yet.
No, that was 1.9 was the combat update, so it did exist.
Oh, it was after? Okay. I liked 1.12 a lot.
Yeah, 1.12 was a good version.
Because it was kind of like a happy medium where even though I don't know, there was just a good balance.
I think
features.
The reason we liked 1.12 was, if I'm not mistaken, it was after the combat update, which I think was bad, but they probably could have reverted it.
Probably.
And let me see, bro. What was this? Yeah, this was the World of Color update. So it added a bunch of blocks to the game, which was very needed. And I think I've never had a problem with them adding extra blocks because it also added colored beds. So it added like concrete, glazed terracotta, so you could use different blocks to make different builds. I always think that's a good thing. They added the Illager, which I believe if you slayed it, it would give you a Totem of Undying, and that was the only way to get those. Whereas nowadays you can do raids, and you can get them, and you can just farm raids and get a ton of Totems of Undying, and basically you'll never die, which I think it makes the game kind of too easy.
Sure.
And I think it was also like, it was before they added a bunch of the like, random mobs, and also I think this was before copper, which I feel like they should change the crafting recipe for the rails from gold to copper, like for the powered rails, because like 6 gold is a lot, and I feel like you can use gold on much better things than rails.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
I think you're right.
yeah.
I don't know. Modern Minecraft 2, I think a lot of just the enjoyment has gone away. I mean, most people, not us, I don't think, maybe. Most people have put thousands of hours into Minecraft already.
Yeah.
And there's only so long you can play with Legos before you get bored. So,
yeah, that too.
It's just, I don't know. It's been around so long. If you haven't played it, you will, and after you do, you probably won't play it for a while. And I think it's one of those games. It's like Pokemon, or like COD, where like whatever patch you get into it a lot is like gonna be your favorite patch. Like I remember 1.16 fondly and 1.8 fondly, because those were ones that like I played a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess that's enough yapping on that. I guess we can move on to some of our favorite indie games. I can't remember if we've done this topic before, and maybe it's changed. But I got a list of the top 100 indie games that I feel like is a good starting point for me, at least. And I don't know if you're not ready, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about some of these.
You can talk about them.
So I think to me, the beauty of indie games is always the idea that it's not just a mega corpo trying to get your money, trying to get your time, trying to get your investment for skins, for investors, for the hell of it. The only negative to indie games is if they blow up, sometimes they get bought by a megacorp, and that sucks. But what are you gonna do? Um, I I guess I kind of want to highlight a few of my favorite games that I've been playing recently over like the past year. And I think my top three indie game wise has been Celeste, Hollow Knight, and then if y'all remember that game Vampire Survivors, I think is some of my top three. Dead Cells is great. I don't know. I just feel like there's something beautiful about small teams making great games.
Yeah, I guess if I wanted to do I can do my probably top five from this list. Just kind of taking a quick glance at it. I think number five for me would probably be The Binding of Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
I know Meta has played that game a ton. I just never got into it as much. Another one I would like to highlight here is Deep Rock Galactic. That game, we got into it, I think, late 2023, and we haven't played it ever since, but it's basically like you basically pick a mission, and you get kind of like a procedurally generated mission, and you can do like harder difficulties, and you basically level up your character or your class as you go, and there's 4 classes. They might have added a 5th, I think, but very interesting game, very unique. Kind of reminds me of Destiny if it was like procedurally generated.
Yeah.
And also like single player.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also play it multiplayer, which is very, very interesting. I mean, obviously, I think Fall Guys would be number 3 for me.
Okay.
Just because I think it's...
That's a wild one to me, but it is a good game.
I don't know. It's just like simple fun, though.
Yeah. It is. It's just simple fun. They've added more maps, and they've taken out like I think they've done some adjustments to like the amount of like kind of what maps you get more of. I think most people like the obstacle course maps, and most people like the like ones where you're like trying to outlast people, and I think people's least favorite ones are the ones where you have to like hold on to the balls or whatever and like score them in your goal, or hold on to the golden egg or whatever the hell it was. So I think they've done a really good job of like adjusting and tuning the numbers in that game.
Yeah,
based on
actually,
like how many likes the maps get.
Yeah, I think actually I think I would put Dead Cells at number 3 and Fall Guys at number 2. And then probably my number 1 game would probably be Stardew Valley, I think.
Ooh, wow!
Just
okay.
like as a game, I need to play more.
Have you
Stardew.
played it that much?
I think I've played like 100-ish hours, which for an indie game is a lot for me. Because I don't really like play indie games that much.
Fake
and
fan.
usually most indie games are like a single player one time play kind of thing, so and they're usually a little shorter. But
Yeah, you're not off on that one.
and then obviously Minecraft. No.
Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah, huge fan. I don't know. How do we feel about indie games? Are they? I mean, I don't think there'll ever be a time like 2016 where like AAA games took such a dive that indie games just started blowing up. I don't know if there'll ever be a second renaissance, but I mean, they're not going anywhere. I just feel like I don't hear about them as much, and the indie games that you see nowadays are really, really well produced.
Yeah,
Really well produced.
I know they have gotten a lot better since they sort of first started, I guess, in like the early 2010s. Really blowing up a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think to like the super casual gamer, I think indie games are still not big. I mean, most of people, if you go outside or like if you go to your work and you like ask them what games they play, they're gonna say like games like The Last of Us or Overwatch, or they'll just say like the biggest, most popular game out there, pretty much.
Almost every time.
And most of like the indie games don't really get the love that they deserve, but we'll see. Maybe I feel like AAA games are still going downhill in my opinion. Especially a lot of like spicy. The newer titles that have gone like super woke.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe we are in a second renaissance because maybe I'm schizo posting, but I feel like in 2016, that's kind of why we got a lot of bad games. Is honestly because of like Trump and like meltdowns of like these giant studios just starting to, I don't know, they just started like pumping out weird shit. Like let me see. I wasn't really expecting to go in this direction, but like a few of these games, like who even remembers some of these? We had like Battlefield 1. Let's see. We had the Hitman game that wasn't that great. Gears of War 4, which was I think the woman one, right?
Yeah. We had Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. You had Titanfall 2, which I know you and I think is underrated, but it didn't do well.
Sorry if you can
Watch Dogs 2. Yeah, me too. Mine are going crazy. Watch Dogs 2. Just, I don't know, just a bunch of games that, like, landed so flat. World of Warcraft Legion. Like, just...
Oh, I don't even remember that, bro.
Yeah, just like Middington all over. But then you had, you had games like Overwatch come out, and I guess that was a pretty big, like triple A game. I don't know. There was just a lot of games that just kind of really, really boring. And it was also kind of the start of getting a lot of like the woke, like politics into gaming. But then see if I go over to the indie list for 2016, we got Firewatch, Enter the Gungeon, The Witness, Stardew Valley. We got Reigns, if y'all remember that. I remember that one. Devil Daggers was cool. That's a little $5 game. Golf with Your Friends.
Based.
Dungeons Souls. It was... I'm just kind of going down the thing. Cluster Truck. There's a bunch of these games that like I remember and I still play.
Yeah, a lot of those. I think one thing too, that was also the year of No Man's Sky, if I remember correctly, and that was a big controversy because they promised a lot and delivered like none of it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully indie games make a bigger comeback. I think they will. Just over time, I think a lot of like the corpo greed has seeped too much into gaming, and I think a lot of people are kind of done with it. But yeah, I guess we can move on.
I guess. Yeah. All right.
I have this short little story. Nintendo is removing a game from its Switch Online retro library. For the first time since it launched the Switch Online, basically. And so
this is a hot one.
We all know Switch Online, you gotta pay for it, but they do give you some retro indie games, and one of the games that they gave you is Super Formation Soccer, and in the West it is known as Super Soccer. So,
Super Soccer.
I don't know what why they made it different, but
don't ask me.
Okay.
They do that a lot.
I guess they call it football over there, so had to call it Formation Soccer.
I see.
Formation Soccer, different.
She knew what the hell it was. You have a
So
smartphone, buddy.
yeah, they remove it will be removed, I believe, on the 28th of March,
Damn.
and
Executed.
the reason is not really clear, but the removal might be due to the fact that in the West, Super Soccer is published by Nintendo, but the Japanese version is published by a defunct Human Entertainment, um, where the IP is owned by Skype Crunsoft. I'm assuming that's a person. Maybe it's, I don't know. I've never heard of this company, but
I haven't either.
I don't know. How do you feel about? Do you feel like this is a bad thing for like game preservation? Because I mean, I feel like this. I mean, this game's probably preserved on the internet somewhere, but
Honestly, I haven't thought much about it, but like my gut reaction to stuff like this is, I don't really think it's that bad for game preservation. One, I guarantee this game is probably preserved a million times over compared to most games because it's so old. The file size is small, and honestly, it's probably not even that fun. But as far as like game preservation, this like weird emulator service that all these companies are doing, I don't consider it like game preservation to do that. I just kind of consider it like they probably even pull some of the raw files off of emulator sites. I might not be shocked if they did. So to me, I'm not like real hurt about this. And I don't think it does anything for preservation because Nintendo would never let you like try to extract the files or anything. And it's always a service that you pay for. So as soon as you stop paying for it, you lose all the games anyways. You're not really preserving anything. You just get access to things that have already been preserved.
yeah.
Is that a dark take?
No, I get that though. Like that's what happens. That's what happens, bro. Whenever, I do think, I don't know if they like rip it off from sites, but I do think they maybe like make a game, like a device that is able to, where they can like put in the game. Maybe they have like an original game cartridge and they can just take the game cartridge from that device and like put it on a computer and then put it on the Switch very easily. Maybe not. I mean, they could rip it straight off. It's very, I mean, that's what the emulator guys do.
That's what they're doing,
anyways.
Right? Is they probably just rip it off.
That's what all the like game emulator sites do. Is they have the actual game. They just take it. They put it in a little device that can read it and translate it into a file, and they just put it on their computer and then send it up. It also should be noted that a lot of retro games from the Virtual Console era of Nintendo have been removed, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Yoshi's Cookie, Pitfall, SimCity, Street Fighter 2. I mean, a ton of games have been taken off of the Virtual Console, so this is nothing new. Although the Virtual Console was not a subscription service, so it is a little different in that way. But you were still able to play them because they were not subscription based. So that's kind of a difference. I don't know. I really don't like that Nintendo has like bundled this into the online. I understand like the idea is to like soften the blow of having to pay yearly for online. And I will say, like, compared to Xbox and PlayStation, I do think Nintendo's servers, like, not servers, but like the pricing is way better. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really mind. Especially, I don't think many people are gonna be sad about this game being removed. Now, if it was like Super Mario got removed, I think people would be.
My day is ruined, really. No, yeah. If they, I think if they remove something like Super Mario, I think you'd have riots in the street.
Yeah.
No one probably cares about this game. I'm gonna keep it 100p on that one. It sucks that they're removing it. I don't know why. I mean, well, you mentioned the rights, but yeah,
I'm almost certain that's what it is. Because like, why else would they remove it? Like, it's not like it's causing controversy or anything. Game's like 40 years old, and I mean, no one. I mean, most people probably haven't played it because it's like one of those original, or like very retro sports games where like it's kind of just trying to like, I don't know. It's not. It doesn't really like capture the actual sport. It's just like, hey, sport, you know.
Yeah. Hey, sport. Hey.
You know, soccer. All right.
Soccer. You ever played soccer?
But yeah, I guess we can move on if we want.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we got. I just kind of wanted to cover these two games. Have we talked about Rivals of Aether 2 or not?
We have.
We have. That's tragic.
Yeah, I think closer to whenever it released.
That's sad. Well, I guess I wanted to. Oh gosh, I guess I just wanted to mention it again. It looks like they've added a new character. Whoa, dude, this cat is going crazy, bro. Someone help me. Someone send help, dude. I'm getting eaten alive. They've added in these new characters. There's a fox chick. Her name is Olympia. And they've continued to add things. And I don't know if you have the Steam page open, but I didn't know they did this, but they're actually showing like hurt boxes and hit boxes for every move. And they show like changes they made, like milliseconds from like point, you know, like changes to the boxes, changes to just everything. I mean, they're really, really transparent. And I'm kind of shocked, honestly.
Is this a free character or do you have to pay?
I don't see a way to buy her, but
April 2nd, yeah, it doesn't look like there's a way to buy her. I believe this is a character that was in the original. She was one of the like free DLC that they did towards the end of the game. There was like 4 free DLC characters that were made from they gave you the ability to do like to add workshop characters that could only be used in local games.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I think you could enable them if you were playing like a private online game. And so this was one of the characters that someone in the community made, and she was so good that she actually got into the original Rivals, and so I think they're just bringing her back for this game because I think this game has all the DLC characters from the original plus like the main cast, and then I think they're just going to add the ones that they had for free, and as well as you also have like the new character, the elephant guy, and I think there's another new one. Or that might be the only new one. But
yeah, the elephant guy. I think it might be the only new one, but it looks really good. I don't know if we're ever gonna play it or not. I know this is kind of like one of the games we completely forgot about, but I just want to remind everyone it exists. And the first one was good, but this one looks like they've really made improvements.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with all the furries though.
I don't know either, bro.
Keep it 100.
I guess you also have another game on here, Raven Watch, baby.
Oh yeah, Raven Watch is is something I'm gonna cover next week. I bought the game. It is a top-down rogue light experience. So I'd love to see this play out.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's been about it for the podcast, boys.
I think that's it.
It's been a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been your boy Kirby DK10. Peace.
Peace.